Welcome to this edition of the Overtime Period. I am your host, Jacob Phillips. This is the last show of the Overtime Period before the Christmas break hits us here at the University of Indianapolis. We will resume, though, no worries. We will get started back up in the early parts of January. A very special edition today. I have both Coach Kristin Drabyn and Coach Stan Gouard in studio with me at the same time. We are talking the week that was in both men's and women's basketball here at UIndy, and also talking some Christmas. All right, Coach Drabyn, this past weekend, conference play started. First of all, how did you enjoy that?
Oh, this is a tough conference, and so it's always fun to play, and it's always hard to get a road win in this conference. But to go one-on-one in our first weekend, I think, is pretty good for this basketball program right now.
You, as you said, you won at Parkside, which is a very difficult place to win. I think, Coach, you could atone to that as well. And then you go to number 18, Lewis. You did lose, but 3 top 20 teams in the first 3 weeks of the season, and those are your only 3 losses. I guess you got to be just sort of proud of the way your team's played against the teams that you're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, that's the plan your first year, and I tell our staff all the time we love to play those top 20 teams right now, but hopefully that's only going to help us in the long run to see, what those teams look like. And we've played 3 great teams that are really well coached, and I think that's, good for our kids to see. And we go back to practice and we kind of show them, like, this is how we have to play if we want to be at that level. And to be able to say that and compete with those teams, I think is huge for these girls' confidence right now.
Thursday night, you big victory at Parkside, 13-point victory, 70-57. Got off the conference play, a 1-0 start. Sydney, 29 points, 11 rebounds. It just seems like, every time we talk, she's one of the main players.
Player of the year.
Yeah, no kidding. That's coming from the men's basketball
coach.
Yeah, the man. Somebody that knows something about player of the year, right?
I wouldn't say that.
Hey, the award shows it, doesn't it? But what about her? Just it makes for other teams so hard for her to guard.
She's a special player. She's a mismatch for a lot of people. She can go inside and outside, and she's got a nice touch on the basketball and can shoot it. And for her right now, her biggest thing is, she always asks me how she can serve her teammates. So I think that speaks volumes for who she is as a person. I think that helps her on the basketball court. But she also makes her teammates around her better, and we need her to do that day in and day out. And that's her role on this basketball team, not more valuable than anybody else, but that's just her role right now.
Coach Gouard, team goes into halftime Thursday against Parkside, 41-38, leading. And maybe some of the problems we've talked about this year and discussed from time to time is the slow starts that your team's gotten off to, and actually go into the intermission with a 3-point lead. But then the second half, you only score 20 points and you lose by 2. What happened?
We lost.
Good answer.
There's a lot of positives, when you look at that basketball game. Of course, yes, the slow starts are continuing to hinder us along the way. But I feel like we missed a lot of free throws. The game plan kind of went south the second half. We played a well enough first half to put ourselves in a situation, down the stretch to win a ball game. But we made some critical mistakes down the stretch that cost us, And it's not 1 or 2 guys. It's just a number of plays that cost us the ball game. Missed checkouts, not driving to the basket strong enough, out of position on the defensive end, giving up open shots. We struggle with guys in the corner. I remember the shot against both Parkside and Lewis down the stretch where we shouldn't have left the guy in the corner, and both teams nailed a three-point shot to kind of seal the deal.
Now, this is a question I want to ask both of you because I've kind of discussed it with you individually, but I want kind of a joint answer from each of you now. 3-point shooting. It's kind of been a struggle for both to start the season off. We haven't played 10 games yet. 3 of 16 on Thursday night, and you guys actually did fairly well. I just looked at the chart, 7 of 14, but it's been something that you've struggled with, and I think it's finally starting to come into play. At this point, is it all in the head, or is it just kind of what?
Depends on the shooter and how tough they are, mentally tough, rather. Mm-hmm. Our best shooter, Eric Davidson, if you look at his numbers last year, he got a lot of easy open 3-point shots because of guys like Joe Reddick, Lucas Barker, and Jordan Lloyd. And this year we don't have those type guys that can break down. Now they can break guys down, but it's a little harder. Other teams have coaches too, and I tell guys this all the time. And they knew about Eric's reputation in terms of how he shoot the basketball rather. And if you look at, just going back to the Parkside game, and he didn't play at Parkside, but going back to the Lewis game rather, those guys, when we drove it, we ran plays to drive it at Eric to try to, suck the defense in, and they stayed attached. They made our ball handlers finish plays, and we ran a number of things to try to get them open looks, but just couldn't get them going. And I tell guys all the time, especially in Eric's case and Jesse, who struggle with shooting, if you're not getting the opens or you're missing your open looks, get to the free throw line, get into a rhythm, get a layup, get into a rhythm. And I think once they sink one, the basket gets a little bit bigger for them.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Drabyn?
I mean, for us, it's a little bit different. And last year, if you look at our percentages from three-point line, we're a whole lot better this year than we were last year. I know we emphasized that to be able to shoot the ball. But I think the biggest thing is our kids buying into who needs to get those shots. We have certain kids. I mean, you're shooting set threes. This kid, you're allowed to shoot off the bounce. I think it's important our kids know where they get their shots. And I think Devin Ferguson has actually bought into that role the best. Devin, this is where you get your threes, and she's maybe shooting 1 for 2 each game. That's 50%. So I think we're actually better from the three-point line. Now, being a three-point shooter in college, we're not where I would like us to be right now. But I think, as Coach G was saying, it's about the kids and who's shooting it and their mentality, really.
Now, you talked about Devin. The development of her throughout UIndy last year really seemed like she struggled to shoot the basketball. She didn't want to shoot the basketball at times. How have you changed her mentality?
I think just working with her individually. I think individual skill set right now is really important, and, putting them in positions where they're going to succeed. Everyone has different gifts and what they do, and you got to put them in the offense and what they do, and what they do well, they need to be doing. I think too many times kids are trying to do things they can't do. And if you do what you do well consistently, then you're going to look like a really good basketball player.
Now, Coach Gouard, Eric, he, as you said, you set up a lot of plays for him, and there's no hiding that, and it's because of how good and lethal he can be from behind the arc sometimes. When teams are not budging on those plays you set up for him and they stick to Eric, how do you force him to adjust mid-game?
Well, it's one of those situations where, he got to find other ways. Setting screens will get you open. Cutting hard will get someone else open off of, cross screens or down screens. And then just finding gaps in the defense in transition. He did a great job of it last year. And I'm not saying he's not doing a great job this year. It's just a little harder because you look at Lucas Barker's assist-to-turnover ratio last year. I think 2 years ago, Lucas averaged 8 or 9 assists a game, and 6 last year. And Jimmy King's a different player than Lucas. A.J. Lawton's a different player than Lucas because Lucas was a pass-first type guy. And Jimmy is, but A.J.'s a scoring guard. But you just got to find your holes, in the defense. Again, get to the free throw line, get into a rhythm. No one works harder than Eric after practice in terms of getting extra shots up. I mean, we've had him in after practice. He'd make 58, 59 in a row. And just looking at our opponent this weekend, Olivet Nazarene, Eric went, I think, 2 or 3 of 11 last year. But as a shooter, you can't let that bother you. You got to keep shooting, and he did that last year, and we're going to continue to make him shoot the basketball when he's open. And just piggybacking off of Coach Drabyn, I hear you guys talking about, Devin. I know Devin's dad from years ago when he played at Danville Community College. So I got a great relationship with the family. And I spent a lot of time talking to her last year because her confidence was so shot in terms of shooting. And these guys have really developed her into the player that she could be. I see her confidence level at a different place than it was last year. And it's the job that the new women's staff is doing, and I'm really happy that I'm not trying to toot your horn because you're here, but I tell Devin all the time.
I was like, that's really sweet, Coach.
No, I tell Devin all the time because she occasionally stops by the office to see how I'm doing, but I tell her all the time that she's doing a lot better job than she did last year because, last year she'd catch the ball when you look at the basket. And I've talked to her a lot last year, and this year the talks are there, but just not as much because now she believes in herself a whole lot more, and it's a credit to the new coaching staff and the job they're doing.
You must have a photogenic memory. You were almost spot on with Eric's stats last year's game.
Numbers guy, man.
Yes.
What'd you say?
I'm a numbers guy. I go back and probably about every other day I look at our stats, and we play Olivet this Saturday coming up, and I went back and looked at the stat sheet, and I kind of.
So if I ask you what you guys shot in that game last year,
No.
That's deep.
Not right now. Now you're going
you said Eric shot what, 3 of 11?
3 or 4, somewhere in that
4 of
ballpark.
11.
4 of 11.
You're
Yeah. Jordan
close.
Lloyd, I think he had 29 points. Am I
26.
26, 3 off. That's not bad. But
And just for a good measure, you shot 44% from
all
the
right,
field.
well,
Not bad, I guess.
yeah,
I mean,
it was good enough. We got to do a better job on the other end of the court.
I mean,
Two-way players is what we need. And guys got to turn into those. So we're getting there.
while you both are in here, you talked a few minutes ago about players, the kind of players that you guys were. I don't think you were a three-point shooter. You were a three-point shooter.
Wait a minute. Did you see my numbers in college?
Were you
58% from 3 as a senior.
That's impressive. Well,
Yeah.
what'd you shoot? 2 for
But
three?
I only made 19. I forgot the exact numbers, but 58%.
That's impressive,
but
though.
I played center my entire life until I got to Southern Indiana, because once I realized my potential, what I can do after college, we transitioned into a small forward, then shooting guard my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the shooting, I didn't really shoot a whole lot. I was a great driver and a decent athlete, I would say. So, but I did learn to, in between my junior and senior year, I spent a lot of time in the summer, working my three-point shot, because the possibility of playing in the NBA. I had a number of scouts calling and coming to see me, and that was the thing holding me back. So I worked on it, but I guess not good enough. I'm where God wants me to be right now. So I'm really happy with where I am. Do I want to be a millionaire and possibly be a guy who played in the NBA? Yes, but that's not what God had in His plans for me, and I'm really happy with where I am today.
Now, I know you told me you were a three-point shooter.
He's pulling me up, 58%.
Yeah, you best
senior year.
believe I am. You
Yeah.
said you didn't shoot very much.
I
your senior.
didn't. I didn't shoot a lot of threes.
You're
I
the
think
third all-time leading scorer.
2-pointers, layups, free throws.
He's the smart one, though. He's
Yeah.
shooting high percentage shots.
I stuck to my strengths. That's what Coach always said. Stick to your strengths, and that's what I did.
5th all-time in rebounds. Do I need to keep going?
First all time in steals. I had a good team.
Where are you ranking field goals?
I don't know.
I'll say you're in the top 5.
That's probably true.
You're third.
I had a good team. We had great coaches, and anybody on that basketball team I played with could have did those things. I was just fortunate. So and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct on the steals. No one's even came close to that in the last 15, 16 years.
I gambled a lot. And now I tell my guys don't gamble,
Don't
right?
gamble.
And I did it all the time.
That's
so
normal, I think. You tell them stuff, you're like, man, I remember I did that.
now pull up Coach Drabyn here.
I will.
My stats are nowhere near as good as
Okay,
Coach
I
G's.
will.
We had a good team.
While I'm looking this up, I know that he, and a lot of people that know Coach Gouard know that he played under Bruce Pearl, and he had a significant impact on him. Was there a coach like that for you, Coach Drabyn, that had that significant impact on you?
There's about 10. I remember going through the process. She
Yeah.
had some really good people in her corner. But go ahead, Coach. I hate to take
No,
away
I
from
mean,
what
I
you-
have a lot of people that are really good to me, and I think you win with people, and you have to surround yourself with good people. I mean, my dad, I know it's your dad, and people say that, but he's coached for 30-plus years, and he's won a lot of games. And so to have him there every day, the best is when I tell him something, and then he laughs at me. And he says, it's only your first year. He's like, that's going to happen again and again. And my brother's an assistant at Lipscomb University on the men's side, so he's always good to talk to. And, my college coaches. And, right now, Coach Kristin Curry at Alabama, when I was a GA, she was my head coach there. And, Coach McGraw at Notre Dame's really good to me and helps me out with offensive stuff. So I think it's just keeping good people in your circle. And I have a lot of good friends in the profession. Because you got to ask. One thing I've learned as a head coach is the more you learn, the more you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to keep asking and keep learning, and you don't have all the answers. And the other part is having a great staff. I've been really blessed with my staff, and they work really hard, not only for me but for the girls, and they're there for them. And, we sit in there, we try to rack our brains how to get the team better and help them out. So I think that's been really good for me as well, and it has made me better.
Now, what are we, 18 days away from Christmas? And you guys are going to Florida. You
Yes.
guys just got back from Puerto Rico. You ready for that?
Of course I am. I'm ready to start winning some ball games, but more than anything, get away and get some 80-degree weather. I already checked the weather. It's going to be 80 degrees. So I'm really excited about that. And the women were in Puerto Rico a couple weeks ago, but it's going to be a really good challenge for us to go down and compete in Florida. And part of this deal, when we signed Rod Davis, I know he's from that area. And in recruiting him, I talked to his dad, like, we're going to try and get a game down in Florida before he graduates from UIndy. And we thought we'd get it next year, but we were fortunate enough to get it this year. So his family will get a chance to come down and watch him play versus watching games online. And we'll travel pretty good. A lot of our parents, a lot of the parents of our student athletes are going to travel with, and a couple of our guys are going to stay down there, and spend Christmas in Florida. So that's really good for the families to come down and get some sunshine, but also spend a couple extra days.
Are y'all flying down there?
Yes, we're going to fly.
That's a rough drive.
It'd be a good trip for us.
Coach, 11 points per game, and you're the All-America East All-Conference third team as a senior.
Yeah.
You're not to be overlooked,
That's not Coach
are you?
G's Player of the Year.
No, don't try to
that.
downplay what you did.
You're not to be overlooked,
No,
are
to
you?
do that for a career is pretty good at the college level.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
What are you guys looking forward to most about the Christmas holiday? Besides, your games. of
Family.
course. Family.
Family. My mom just passed away a couple of days ago, and it'll give me a chance to, take it all in, because, like I was telling someone this morning, when you have a situation like that, everything else in the world don't stop. So you got to pick up the pieces and move pretty quick. And I've been blessed with some great people, not only in my family, but in my work environment. Everybody's embraced me, wrapped their arms around me, and now with this break, my wife and my daughter and I, we just decided last night that we're gonna spend our Christmas in Florida as well. Just stay down and get away so I can, regroup and come back fresh for our student athletes.
Yeah,
but more than anything, like I said, family is more important to me than anything in the world.
Yeah, we're definitely very sorry to hear that. You're in all of our thoughts and prayers. Coach Drabyn?
I think the same as just being around family in this profession. You're so busy all the time, and you got to make sure that you have that balance, And I just remember growing up, my dad's always like, the most important word is love, followed by balance, and you have to be able to have both. And to have Coach G around has been really helpful for me to be a first-time head coach, just to see how he does it, and his priorities are in line. And he's actually been a great mentor for me, even though it's been a few months.
Now, you got a daughter, so I know you know about this. Just a little mini game, I guess you could call this, that I want to play with you guys. So you got the little stockings. It's those small gifts that you get before you open the big presents. Both of you, you got one thing that comes in your stocking, and it's for your team, and it can be an improvement. What's the small thing? Not the big thing. What's the small thing?
That's a tough question.
That's a great question, though. I need a couple seconds. You want to ask ladies first?
Yeah.
So
ladies.
one thing for my team.
But
that
it's not.
Does it literally have to be a present?
No. No, it's like something basically like something that if you could give to your team, and make it an automatic improvement. Like, what's the one thing that you would give to your team?
Defensive field goal percentage for us. That's got
the stocking stuffer.
Yes, if I could put that in a stocking, that would be awesome.
Ooh, mine would be taking care of the basketball and field goal percentage.
So
taking care of the basketball and field goal percentage. I will say this though, we started at 18.5 a game, which pains my heart to say, but we're down to 16.9. So
awesome.
We're big on stats, and
hey, y'all are going down.
Yeah, that's all that we, in our team right now, they're holding people defensively, but we got to take care of the basketball to get more possessions and score more points.
Coach Gouard, you want defensive field goal percentage?
Not very good.
Well, I guess we'll see.
No comment means it's not very good, right?
No, not
all
very.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But we're working on it. It's gonna get better. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
You got a young team, so
no excuse.
No excuse. You heard it first. Okay, so now we got
now we put you on the spot. You're turning red there, Jacob.
Now we got the big present. So you got the big present underneath the tree. The big present.
That was the little present?
That was the stocking stuffer.
Okay.
So you got a big present. Coach Gouard.
For the team?
Yeah.
Do you want to relate it to basketball now, or just a big present for the team?
You can do both. We got time.
Wow.
Ladies first again.
The big present under the tree, and I'm talking now to my boss. The wall mural that we've been trying to get down by the locker room. former players who came and paved the way for our guys, so that when they come out of the locker room headed into the gym, they're more appreciative of the guys who paved the way. The David Logans, the Gary Pauls, the Larry and Jeff Haney's, the Bill Brights, and those guys. I would love to get something on the wall heading to the game, or practice, that they got to pass those guys every day, because those guys, Bailey Robinson, they've given so much to this program, and I think sometimes our guys take for granted. So, Dr. Willie, it's on you.
That's a great point, though. I mean, I didn't think of that. And they have such a rich tradition, and honestly, so does UIndy women's basketball. And I'm not, I know that because when I was in high school and college, I used to come back here and play pickup. And, I'm very familiar with that and those girls and the pride that they had. And so just to get the kids now to understand the tradition that has been paved before them. And a lot of those girls I know, they're my friends, and they're just excited to see the energy again. But I guess for us, it would be kind of like the same thing, but our locker room. When I was in college, our place to go hang out was the locker room, and right now our girls don't really do that. Yeah, I mean,
hang out was the locker room?
Yeah.
That's
we redid ours about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I came here 8 years ago, we had metal lockers.
Ooh.
And no sofas in there. It was a TV sitting on a big TV console, and that was my project day one, to find a way to make it a fun place for our guys to hang out. And now it's wooden lockers, sofa recliner, flat screen TV, Xbox Ones in there. So you go in there now, and guys are, like you said, Coach, are hanging out in the locker room and enjoying. We got cable TV down there now. So they kind of have a pretty good setup down there. So and I think the girls are going to get that because they need it, and it's going to make your team that much more closer.
So do we got a big present now for the team?
For both teams, I have it. We talked about this, Coach. Remember the film room?
Yes, that would be great.
The film room, we're trying to get our hands on Dr. Willie, shameless plug.
And we'll share it.
Yes, exactly. For both teams to share. If you look at other schools, for example, Tampa University has a nice film room for their guys. We played at Hillsdale a couple weeks ago.
Where y'all watch film at now?
In the locker room. But Hillsdale has a nice film room. We were over at Butler in the preseason, and Gordon Hayward donated one of the nicest film rooms for his basketball team that I've seen in years. It's really nice.
That's really cool.
That's something the two of us are going to try and come together on and try to raise money and dig in some people's pockets and get that done hopefully in the next year or two.
Yeah, for sure.
How dare you? The big presence on a national championship?
Well, you said this is not basketball. We talked the big press, and you got to earn that. Coach is making a good point. You got to earn that. And I think, the way we earn it is improve our defensive field goal percentage. That's how it's earned. The same thing what she said, improving in the areas that she struggled with. You got to earn that. You can't buy that. You got to go out and work for it and earn it.
Very true. You got me there. You got me twice today.
He's on his A game today.
One Christmas present I have requested for both of you guys.
Technical foul. Say it.
I saw you get one, so I just want to see you get mad one time.
I get upset.
She gets mad. She has a different way of showing it.
Yes,
She's a lady.
Pretty feisty. That is for sure.
Hey, okay. Coach Gerard's already gave me my present then, because at Lake Superior State.
But Coach G's he's seen me get after it.
I sure have.
I saw you get mad too at Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that second game, we had that game. Situations, we gotta get better at situations, and we will.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. But
yeah.
Thanks for giving me my present, Coach. That was very. And then what was very.
And then we go out and what was it, 16-2 or 4 running something like that. That was
right
on time.
5.
I planned that. I told you that was.
See, he's strategic about his though.
Yeah, tell her about that. She doesn't know about that.
I'm still a newbie.
We were losing. We'll talk about it off the air.
Okay, well that's good enough. But yeah, that was something. I don't know if I'll get better than that. That was funny, but not at the time. Yeah, guys. Quickly, this week, Coach Drabyn, you go to Cedarville in Ohio. You look for your 6th win of the year, right before final start here at UIndy.
Yeah.
You'll hear this in the pregame show, but just to reiterate, maybe expand. How do you keep your kids focused, as they go into that last week of school as well, but also know that they need to win these basketball games?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is staying consistent with what we're doing, and I understand it comes from the top, and so I have to be consistent, and I need to make sure that, I stay focused and we're teaching and we're learning and we're growing. But also I think to keep them a little bit light, because a lot of them, I don't know how guys are, but girls get so stressed about the finals.
Oh, yeah.
And so just to, reiterate to them that how important they are and that we love them and we support them through finals. And, we got 2 basketball games before Christmas, and our goal is to go 2-0. Because I think that would be huge for our basketball program to win those 2 games going into Christmas.
Coach, well, I'm sure you're glad to be back home. They've been on the road. This will be their 7th straight road game, and you guys have been on the road for a while as well. I haven't even counted it up, but it's been a while.
A long while.
You looking forward to getting back at Nickerson?
Oh yeah. I'm so ready to. We always say, play in your own backyard. So it'll be exciting to finally get one back here, but. Then we're back on the road again next week. So
technically, I guess.
Yeah.
Florida.
It's not home. It's not
home,
but we'll enjoy it. We'll enjoy it.
True.
What are you looking for out of Olivet Nazarene?
Well, 3-point shooting team. They have they're young, just like we are, and they're kind of scratching the surface a little bit. Their record don't indicate how good they are. I told my guys last week before the Lewis game, I think it was, that we were the best 2 and 4 team in the country, and I think they're right there. Those guys they share the ball well. I was just watching film last night. They're gonna put us in situations because they don't dribble the ball very much, and we don't do a good job of chasing. There was a couple possessions when I watched last night where they passed the ball 12 times, and you'll enjoy this, without a dribble.
That's good basketball.
That ball swings around, and we got to do a good job of chasing and making sure we're helping, but also helping to help. So they're going to challenge us, but, we're up for it, and we're excited about, playing back in Nickerson Hall.
Now, I do want to ask you before we end the show, the start of the season has not been something that your team has been accustomed to the last couple of years, and some of the guys has been on the team for a couple of years, mainly Eric. How do you, keep that confidence instilled in them to say, hey, we're still in this. It's not over yet. We're just getting started.
Well, I can't push the panic button, because the minute I push that panic button, those guys are going to panic. After the game, Lewis game, for example, I'm usually, and you see me around, and you've been around long enough, I'm not a good person, or my attitude's bad when we lose. And my team knows that, I will get out them a little bit, especially, if we lose a game, and let alone the way we play. And I told our guys this, and I think I shared this with you. I wasn't disappointed early on in losing. I was disappointed in how we were losing. The Lewis Parkside games, that we lost, I remember going in the locker room after the Saturday's game. I talked to them in this same tone of voice right here. And a couple of those guys were surprised. They would expect me to come in and, yell a little bit. But I talked to them like men, because we played hard. We just did some things bad down the stretch. We didn't play smart. We had a couple of miscues on the defensive end. So, and you treat every guy different. You can't yell at one. Everybody can't get rolled pretty hard. You got to talk to each guy different in terms of how you get on them, because it's different ways of motivating guys. But in our particular case right now, we've been punched. A lot, and we got to find a way to, overcome the adversity that we're going through right now. And we've been bringing guys in individual meetings, individual workouts, but you can't talk to them too much and get them too tight and not ready to go. So we try to make it as fun as possible, at the same time work hard. And
Coach Drabyn, how do you?
They're winning.
Although the loss Saturday, how do you keep your foot on the pedal?
Foot on the pedal is I come in every day with the same energy. I try not to change as much as possible.
So does your energy reflect to your team?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
That's leadership. That's in anything, and I've learned that. And there's days where I'm off because I'm human and I'm not perfect. And I think being transparent with our kids, and I talked with our captains yesterday. I want them to know that I have their back, but they have to have mine, and we got to do this together.
Absolutely.
And there's such a disconnect right now between coaches and players, and that's across athletics in general. And so we're in this together. We all want the same thing, and I know Coach G wants his boys to grow up and be an impact in their lives, and I want the same for our girls. And so I have to keep that mindset and keep the main thing, and hopefully they buy in, and that's what we want right now.
And sometimes we as coaches, I know for myself, we got to keep in mind that they're kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to mold them just like our parents molded us and our coaches and mentors molded us. We got to keep in mind they're kids. A lot of stuff these guys and girls are doing, we did the same thing.
Absolutely.
And I tell my guys all the time, some of the stuff you guys did, I did, but I didn't get caught. But I was smarter. You know, we didn't have cell phones and things like that
True.
back in my day. But you know, the kids are gonna be okay. You know, this is just a rough time for us and a good time. Thank God for the girls. But everybody go through tough times. You know, it's not the end of the world. You know, we just got to find a way to overcome. And I think the ladies have it figured out. You know, watching those girls play on Saturday, she didn't tell you that her best player was sick. You know, and we talked yesterday. I said she looked bad, and you thought I was talking about her play, but her face was blue. But she's a tough. Sydney, she's tough. She's a tough kid, and she tried to play through that. So. She has some really good players on the team, and they're doing a great job with what they're doing. So fun to watch. Fun to watch.
I want to ask you this. What's the main difference that you've seen out of the women's team that you didn't see last year?
Well, there's energy there. You know, they now play with a sense of pride. Watching them practice now, and I'm not trying to throw any shots at the previous staff, but they're together a whole lot more. You know, I think they care about each other more. They carry. What's the board you guys carry?
Our standards.
The standards. You know, that wasn't around before. Not even before Pope. Not when Popa was around. Not even when Coach Freeland was here. You know, she set the bar pretty high, and those girls are respecting, you know, her standards and her beliefs, and it shows in practice and games.
What's the update on the haircut, by the way?
Oh, my wife, man, she loves it.
I was going to ask you if it was the female.
Well, it's funny you say that. My wife asked me to grow it out, and I started doing it. A couple of student athletes didn't think I can grow hair. I haven't cut my hair.
I know, it's been stuck in here
since '96.
Since '96.
Yeah, so
wow.
I think a few weeks ago, DJ Davis, you know, it started growing out because I hadn't cut it, and he's like, "Man, you can't grow hair." I'm like, "Yeah, I can." So now I'm trying to prove a point to the players. I hate it, but my wife loves it, so. I'm gonna see how long I can stick with this.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how long is it going to? How long?
I don't know. I like the clean shave cut, but my wife wants me to keep it.
I
so
respect that.
I gotta listen to the boss.
Life.
I gotta listen to the boss. So.
Flat top, afro.
No.
No. I'm not going to go to the Will Smith in the 90s.
This is it.
The Fresh Prince. All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas.
I thought you were gonna sing Jingle Bells to the.
Jingle bells,
Something.
jingle
Hey,
bells.
Merry Christmas. I'm sure you want to say Merry Christmas to all the listeners and all of our Greyhounds fans and supporters. It's a great time, and enjoy family, and look forward to 2017.
Yeah, and we appreciate everyone so much.
There you go. We will see you guys after the Christmas break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Hounds.
Both teams in action this weekend. Two different locations, though. The men's team, they're staying put right here at UIndy. They face off against Olivet Nazarene at Nickerson Hall with tip coming at 1 o'clock. The women's team, they're traveling to Cedarville, Ohio to face off against the Yellow Jackets. Tip-off for that game is at 3 o'clock. Well, that's a wrap for us here. For Coach Stan Gouard and Coach Kristin Drabyn, I've been your host, Jacob Phillips. Thank you all for listening, and we wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays.